Edinburgh, Scotland's capital, is an amazing city that comes alive at night. The city really bustles at night when tourists and locals alike come out to explore Edinburgh, be it on a tour of the underground vaults or a wander along the Royal Mile. Enjoy plenty of evening entertainment from quaint pubs to traditional dining, comedy acts, and whiskey tastings. If you're looking to explore Edinburgh activities or attractions, consider what's on offer at night first before planning the trip. Here are 10 of the best things to do in Edinburgh at night. 1. Edinburgh Castle. Edinburgh Castle sits at the top of the Royal Mile, Edinburgh's old town, and looms dramatically over the city. The Great Hall is lined with suits of armor and will no doubt dazzle visitors. The historic fortress dates from the 12th century and was used as the royal residence for Scottish monarchs until 1633, after which it was mostly used as a barracks. Edinburgh Castle also houses several exhibitions such as the National War Museum and Regimental Museums. 2. Edinburgh Vaults. No visit to Edinburgh is complete without exploring the underground vaults. The vaults are a series of chambers under the 19 arches of South Bridge. Completed in 1788 with limited space in the city, it's no surprise that the chambers were used by the criminal underworld as taverns, illegal gambling dens, illegal whiskey distilleries, and places to plot. It is even speculated that body snatchers, such as the famous serial killers Burke and Hare, used the vaults to store bodies overnight, although there is no proof of this. 3. Mary King's Close. Mary King's Close was one of the busiest, liveliest streets in 17th century Edinburgh. However, it spent 400 years sealed up. Explore the streets with a costumed guide and learn about the lives of Edinburgh's rich and poor. Find out how they lived and died and how this area closed due to disease, fear, and destruction it brought. Amongst the locals, you will meet are the poet Robert Tennyson, a housemaid, and a plague doctor with their distinctive masks. 4. Whisky Tasting. Whiskey is the national beverage of Scotland, and no wonder it will leave you feeling warm on the coldest of nights. It would also be wrong to visit Edinburgh and not have a wee dram of Scotch. Brewed from malted barley, whiskey must be aged in barrels for at least 3 years. Most of these will be used in blends, which use whiskey from multiple brewings to produce a certain flavor. A single malt is exactly that, whiskey from the same barrel, and are usually aged for 8 or more years. Whiskey is like wine. Different regions produce different flavors, and therefore it can take a few tries to find your favorites. A whiskey tasting experience at night is definitely the best place to start your journey of discovery. 5. Old Town Pub Crawl. Edinburgh is just as busy by night as by day, but you won't see the crowds as they'll be slinking down alleys to the best pubs Edinburgh has to offer. There are plenty of great pubs and restaurants all over Edinburgh, especially in the Old Town, but many of these are aimed at tourists due to their location. By joining a pub crawl, you not only get to discover several of the top bars in Edinburgh and one of the best clubs, but you will get to meet other travelers and exchange stories as you drink into the night. 6. Explore Edinburgh Old Town and Royal Mile. It is almost impossible to visit Edinburgh without visiting the Royal Mile, an uphill cobbled road lined with all manner of pubs, cafes, restaurants, shops, and tours. The old stone buildings stand tall and proud, narrow alleys and squeezed in between the old buildings, and many have hidden delights. Past Greyfriars Kirk and continue up the interesting street culminate in Edinburgh Castle. The Royal Mile is not just about shopping and pubs. There is a wealth of history on the streets, and there is no better way to discover it than on foot. Seven. Dinner and traditional Scottish entertainment. Do you dare to try haggis? Some say it's a small guinea pig-like creature with one side of legs longer than the other to help it run around hills. Haggis, however, is a traditional sheep's bladder filled with minced liver, heart and lungs, flavored with onion, herbs, oatmeal, and suet. Served with nips and tatties, it is now somewhat of a Scottish delicacy and well worth trying. It is actually very tasty and has a delicious savory flavor. Enjoy a feast accompanied by traditional bagpipe music and more Scottish tales, myths, and legends. Eight. Princess Street. One of the main thoroughfares of Edinburgh and the shopping central of Scotland's capital, Princess Street comes alive at night. The adjacent Princess Street Gardens provides a beautiful park great for a quiet evening stroll. The National Gallery of Scotland and the Royal Scottish Academy sit within the gardens. Pause for a moment and absorb the Gothic splendor of the Scott Monument, a tribute to the Scottish author Sir Walter Scott, who wrote the Waverley novels. Enjoy the sights and sounds of buskers' performances and choose how much of your evening you wish to spend peacefully. The gardens are amongst the city's hustle and bustle, especially on Thursdays when there is late-night shopping. Nine. Camera Obscura. The Camera Obscura and World of Illusions is an eccentric and strange place to visit, a place where illusion thrives and your brain will struggle to figure out what it sees. There are over 150 hands-on exhibits to experience here. Military Tattoo. The Royal Edinburgh Military Tattoo takes place in August and is certainly unmissable if you visit then. Edinburgh Castle's floodlit esplanade is the perfect location for a whole host of performances from around the globe. See Scottish dancers dressed in all their tartan glory, listen to Scottish pipe and drum bands, and so much more. The festival was inspired over 70 years ago by a show called Something About a Soldier, performed in 1949 at the Ross Bandstand in Princess Street Gardens. The first ever military tattoo was organized by Lieutenant Colonel George Malcolm, who aimed to bring to life the Army's contribution to the Edinburgh International Festival. Edinburgh has so much to offer. It would be mad to miss it given the activities at night. If you thrive on hustle and bustle, then exploring the Royal Mile and Princess Street are the perfect way to spend the evening, or better yet, time your visit for one of Edinburgh's festivals. There is so much dark history both below and above Edinburgh streets, and Underground Vault tour is an essential activity to undertake. Whether you want to learn about the city's past or seek out scariness, Edinburgh remains one of the most interesting, varied cities to visit at night in Europe, and the bonus is most of the top attractions are within walking distance of each other. Check overseasattractions.com through the links below to see more best things to do in Edinburgh at night.